Hey, it's Mario here. I'm on day 3 of the Advanced Survival course run by Rich Hungerford of Bush Law in Maleny, Queensland. Um, we're just caught a catfish and back at camp they're cooking it up, which is phenomenal because that'll be the first decent amount of protein we've got other than wild edibles. So I'm going to go through a few things that we've been doing, but I guess to start with the catfish, it's been an interesting exercise because we've been setting lines along the creek bank, trying to use some information Rich has given us to spot catfish holes, good coverage, and using some of his fishing techniques, which definitely paid off. It's been interesting to watch the people get involved with that at various stages. And this morning we tried for probably 2 days without any success. We went out primarily just to get some bait and then to go out later, and we thought, well, while we're down there, let's bait up everything and push on a bit. We're getting pretty tired. And then after we set our traps, we were leaving and we noticed that one of the traps was getting a bit of attention, and boom, catfish on. We pulled the catfish up, landed it, killed it quickly and humanely, brought it to the creek, gutted it and brought it back to camp. And what we noticed then was everyone's at different stages of their fatigue. We haven't really been eating. We've been just eating wild edibles and a few insects and things, but that was about it. When the catfish came out, everyone got involved. You know, we had fire making going, people getting leaves to bind it in, people getting twine, and it just brought the whole group together. You could see the shift in people's energies and I guess that sense of hope. So yeah, that was probably the biggest shift we'd seen. We'd had different ebbs and flows, so we've gone from, I guess we've all had our low stages and high stages. Day 1 when we came in, we were given an area of land to try and make the best use of the resources to make a base camp. So we worked really well together. One thing we did, we actually sat down and had a so-called tea ceremony about the tea and tried to introduce ourselves and learn a bit about what skills we had and to form a bit of a bond on how we were going to work together. So I think that really paid off rather than just jumping straight into it. We then sort of mindfully looked around where we were to try and pick a spot that was going to give good aspect to the morning sun, good shelter, a good place to have a fire and bed, which some of the footage later you'll see is in there. We worked really good together. I think in the first day particularly, we all had lots of energy. We all had breakfast and meals soon to that. I think it was probably that afternoon and then days after where we were all at different stages on those low peaks. We have worked out systems for harvesting and purifying our water, and also harvesting wild edibles. So naturally people have gravitated to various tasks, and we've also had to, I guess, to not assume that people will just see that something needs to be done. So as a group we've been making collective decisions and actually assigning tasks to people so they get done. So hang on, what do we need to do here? We're not going to go and just have some craft time. We still need to get firewood for tonight. We need to get more water, and then as a group we decide who's doing what. So that doesn't mean we get necessarily one person sitting there doing nothing. I think what we noticed today, my spirits personally have been pretty good. I've done a little bit of stuff outdoors, not for this duration without substantial food, but what I noticed when we left this sort of tree cover here and went out to the more open country, it lifted our spirits. And setting out the lines with the guys this morning and getting some bait, we all felt more hopeful. And even if we didn't get any, like we were lucky to get this catfish, which was probably about that long, even if we didn't actually achieve anything from those goals, the process of working together sort of lifted all of our spirits and being out there, and we used the chance to, you know, support each other, learn more about wild edibles and what we could use plants for. So I think really, while it's tempting to sit around the fire and do nothing, for me personally and the guys I was with, we all commented on when we got up and pushed through that tired phase and past our comfort zone, we actually got out of that sort of depressed state and back up again really well. So that led us to push on through, get the catfish, come back and cook it. Water again, that's probably one thing we've talked about, really being using our hygiene really well with how we're handling the water, that we're using a water filtration system and then secondary to boil it. But even when we're handling our water, transporting it, that we're trying to keep that as hygienic as possible. I think probably the key aspect for me coming to this, my default is to be a bit of a lone wolf and to go out and just do everything by myself. But I knew trying to work with lots of different characters and people's different skill levels, for me coming here was about challenging myself not to be in that default lone wolf situation and to work with others and to actually try and work out how I could facilitate that best and, you know, try and bring people in to be involved with tasks. So I've really enjoyed that process. This is probably one of the most enjoyable times I've had with other people. And I really think that we've all probably managed to enjoy each other's company and not get, you know, upset or frustrated with others because we're working together as a team. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the experience. We've got the rest of today and then all of tomorrow, and we'll finish up tomorrow afternoon. So we're hoping we continue to use that philosophy of, you know, using our minimal resources. We know our energies are going to be lower, and using, you know, our creativity but also our ingenuity to get tasks done. That's about it. I guess we're also really mindful as we get tighter that we're more likely to have an accident, so we're also trying to support each other to be careful with cutting implements. When we're going out walking, that we're, you know, extra careful because that tiredness and fatigue is knocking on the door. But yeah, really enjoyed the experience. Rich offers really great courses. Have done a couple with him. We'll do more in the future. If you get a chance, come out and do a course with Rich. It's really life-changing. And for me, I looked at this one as to help. I work in management, so taking away the skills I've learnt here to use in a management context, and also learning more about myself. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and take care.